Hello all, welcome back to the BioRocks channel. In this video today, I'm going to introduce you with the permanent tissues. So in the last video, we have learned about the simple permanent tissue, where we learned about the parenchyma, collenchyma, and the sclerenchyma. Today, I'll be introducing you with the complex permanent tissues. Okay, the complex permanent tissues are going to be the ones which are going to be the conducting tissues. Okay, so for this, let me share my screen with you children such that I can enter into my topic. So the first thing that I need to introduce you is the complex permanent tissues. In simple permanent tissues, we have seen that they are going to have the type of cells which have the same functionalities. Okay, I mean they had a same single type of cells. Okay, but here the complex is going to be something which is going to have more than one type of cells here. So that's the reason we call them as a complex tissues, and they all togetherly act as a single unit. Okay, and these complex tissues, as I told you, these are the vascular tissues. They're going to help in conduction or transportation process. It might be the water and minerals, or it might be the organic materials like your glucoses, which are going to be synthesized during the photosynthesis, have to be conducted. So those are going to be conducted by these complex permanent tissues. Okay, and the ones which are the complex tissues are going to be the xylem and the phloem. Okay, so they both togetherly are called as a vascular or the conducting tissues. In this video, children, I'm going to introduce you with the xylem. Okay, so xylem is going to be the vascular complex permanent tissue which is going to conduct the water as well as minerals from the roots to that of your shoots, to that of your all parts like leaves and all the parts of the shoot system. So they just conduct the water and minerals from the roots to the other parts of the plant body. Coming to the topic of xylem, as we know, this is a complex tissue. It has more than one different type of cells here. So they are the tracheates, and xylems are going to comprise of vessels, fibers, and parenchyma. Okay, these are the four things which are going to make up the xylem. Okay, so these are the four elements, the different types of the cells. So one by one we are going to get introduced, children. So the first thing is that I'm going to introduce to you is going to be the tracheates. So these play a very, very major role. See, the thing that you're seeing on the screen here, this particular thing, the long structure, which are going to have a tapering ends at the both the corners. Okay, you can see that it has a tapering ends. Okay, these long tube-like structures are called as tracheates. Okay, so these tracheates which are present are going to be the most important what you call is elements of the xylem tracheary system, children. This is actually being called as a tracheary system. Tracheary system comprises of tracheates as well as vessels togetherly. These togetherly are called as a tracheary system. So now first we are learning about the tracheates. So just remember that these are going to be the long tube-like cells having the tapering ends, and these tracheates are the most important conducting cells of the xylem. Conducting is nothing but they transport the water and minerals, okay, from roots to the top of the all other parts of the plant body. And these are the ones which are the most important conducting cells found in the pteridophytes as well as in the gymnosperms, especially in the gymnosperms. The wood that you are going to see is going to comprise of tracheates. This is very important. So it's found mostly, the most important component of the xylem which helps in the conducting water and minerals in pteridophytes is tracheates. Okay, in the gymnosperms, the wood that you see is going to comprise mostly of this particular thing which is being called as tracheate. Remember, children, the tracheates are going to be, when they are going to get matured, what happens is they develop a secondary wall. Let me show you what is that secondary wall. Okay, so let me have this one. Yeah. So I've got this image for you children to show you what is a secondary cell. So usually when the cells are going to what you call is mature, when they're going to get mature, so now you can see that this is the outermost one is being called as primary cell wall. Okay, the inner one that you're seeing here, the maroonish, is going to be the plasma membrane. So when the cells are going to get matured, what happens is they develop a secondary cell wall which is made up of lignin, which is made up of lignin. This secondary cell wall is being built up in between the primary cell wall as well as the plasma membrane. So this is your secondary cell wall made up of what? Made up of the lignin, which makes them very harder. Remember children, that these tracheids, when they get matured, they are developing a lignified secondary cell wall, which makes what happens is when they get matured, they lose their protoplasm, which makes them as what? The dead cells. So tracheids, when they are matured or the dead cells, because of the development of the lignified secondary wall and loss of the protoplasm. Okay, the whole single long tube cell with the tapering ends is a single tracheid that you can see. And what are these patterns that you can see is nothing but when the secondary wall is going to develop, the thickening or the lignification of the secondary cell wall has some patterns. The patterns may be annular, they may be reticulate, or it might be having the pits. So these are the pits which are present on the lateral walls, that is a lateral cell wall of these tracheids. These are the pits that you can see. Okay, this is very important. Usually when you look at the tracheid from the top, they look like a polygonal structure. They look like a polygonal structure. These are a very long cells when compared to that of the vessels, children. You can compare these two togetherly. So these are the long cells which are conducting water and minerals. They're the most important conducting vessels in the pteridophytes. Okay, and they have the pits and they have the secondary cell wall which is made up of lignin, and these are the dead cells which are present. Okay, these are important to be remembered, children. Remember that the adjacent tracheids that you are seeing here are going to have pits, and this pit is going to have a complementary pit in the adjacent tracheid. Okay, and this pit is also going to have a complementary pit in the adjacent tracheid. These complementary pits are going to be the pit pairs. These pit pairs, what they do is they just allow the conduction of the water in the adjacent tracheids together. So the flow of the water is going to be as such. Now coming on to the second category is going to be the vessels. As I told you that vessels and tracheids togetherly called as a tracheary system. Coming on to vessels, vessels are not long when compared to that of these. They are the short cells. They have a wider lumen when compared to that of the tracheids. You can see they're very wider, children. And the other difference that you can see is when you look at these vessels from the top, they look circular. But how are the tracheids? They were polygonal in structure. Coming on to the vessels, vessels are going to have, see, this is one of the vessels. All the vessels are going to be the series of long cells. Okay, this is one particular cell, this is one particular cell arranged one above the other, and the end walls which are present are common for them. This wall is going to be common for the top vessel, and this wall is going to be, this end plate is going to be common for the lower wall. Okay, remember that these end plates which are present in between the two vessel elements, each cell of the vessel is called as a vessel element. For example, here he has taken this as one vessel element. This one vessel element will be present on another vessel element. Okay, one above the other, and these are being separated by the end plates. You can see that the end plates are you can see that they are perforated, they are dissolved, but not completely dissolved. They are dissolved in few areas, so this forms a pits inside. These end plates are having some pits which are being present, so you can call it as perforated end plates. This you can see only in the vessels, children. It can't be seen in the tracheids. Okay, and remember that the adjacent tracheids are making a ring like. Okay, and these are going to have a complementary pits, but there are no things which are present like they do not have the end plates with the perforations. They are seen only in the vessels. So for instance, if this is one vessel element, this is a second vessel element. They're togetherly separated by a end plate which is perforated, and all these vessel elements and the tracheid elements togetherly are called as tracheary systems. These tracheary systems are the most important conducting elements of all the vascular plants, especially in the angiosperms. They togetherly are helping in the conduction of water and minerals, but the most important one which plays a major role is going to be the vessels. Here, children, I need to make a most important point about the tracheids. Okay, tracheids are those ones which are going to prevent the air embolism. एम्बोलिज्म का मतलब होता है बबलिंग, ओके। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपको पता है कि ट्रांसपिरेशन के थ्रू प्लांट इज ट्राइंग टू लूज वाटर एंड मिनरल्स, राइट। सो ट्रांसपिरेशन जैसे जैसे इंक्रीज हो जाता है, जैसे ट्रांसपिरेशन रेट इंक्रीज हो जाता है, क्या हो जाता है इस आपके जाइलम के अंदर का जो वाटर कॉलम बिल्ड हो रहा है, दैट what you call is the attraction and movement of the water is going to be like one water molecule to the other water molecule, one water molecule to the other water molecule is going to be the adhesion. उस adhesion water column को कौन build करता है? ट्रैकीड्स build करते हैं, ओके okay, समझ में आ रहा है? सो जैसे जैसे आपका ट्रांसपिरेशन रेट बढ़ता रहेगा तो क्या होता है, इस वाटर कॉलम में टेंशन बढ़ता है, जिसकी वजह से वाटर कॉलम क्या होता है, कंटिन्यूअस नहीं होता, डिसकंटिन्यूअस होके बीच में एयर बबल्स आते हैं, जिसकी वजह से कंडक्टिंग एंड वाटर एंड मिनरल्स में बहुत मुश्किल आ जाता है। उसको हटाने में, उसको प्रिवेंट करने में ट्रैकीड्स क्या करते हैं, दे बिल्ट अप अ स्ट्रॉन्ग एडहेशन पावर बिटवीन द वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स इन द वाटर कॉलम इन ऑर्डर टू हैव अ easy conduction of water and minerals. This is called as preventing air embolism, we are going to call it as, okay. This is very important. Tracheids are going to prevent the air embolism. समझ में आया? ये दोनों ही वैस्कुलर टिश्यूज है, लेकिन एंजियोस्पर्म्स है, इन दोनों में से ज्यादा जो वाटर को कंडक्ट करता है, just because of the what you are going to call is a huge dimension or the width में. So हम लोग देखते हैं कि यहाँ पर these are the ones which are going to help in the water conduction when compared to that of the tracheids, children. This is important to be remembered, okay. So end plate perforations कहाँ पर है? Vessels में है। और adhesion में वाटर कॉलम बिल्ड करने में कौन हेल्प करता है? आपका ट्रकीड्स हेल्प करते हैं। ये ज्यादा सा कंडक्टिंग सिस्टम कहाँ पर देखा जाता है? आपके टेरिडोफाइट्स में देखा जाता है। जिम्नोस्पर्म्स के वुड में भी ट्रकीड्स को ही देखा जाता है, लेकिन ज्यादातर एंजियोस्पर्म से मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट हीरो कौन है कंडक्टिंग में? इट इज गोइंग टू बी द वेजल्स ओनली, ओके। सो ये दोनों को हम लोग बोलते हैं क्या? ट्रैकियरी सिस्टम बोलते हैं। अभी कमिंग ऑन टू अनदर थिंग, वी हैव द xylem fibers, children. So this is xylem fiber. Xylem fiber is going to be a long cell which is going to have tapering ends again, but they're very long, made up of dead cells called as sclerenchyma. They're made up of what? Sclerenchyma. और ये fibers water conduct नहीं करते हैं, बल्कि वो क्या करते हैं, आपके xylem और tracheids जो water conduct कर रहे हैं, उनको एक support system के जैसा रह के एक mechanical strength देते हैं, उनको एक supportive system के जैसे काम करते हैं fibers, okay? तो फाइबर्स किससे बने हैं? स्क्लीरेनकाइमा से। सो आप देख सकते हो कि ये भी डेड सेल है, आपका वेसल भी डेड सेल है, ओके, बिकॉज इनमें भी लिग्निफाइड सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल डेवलप होता है, जिसकी वजह से वो प्रोटोप्लाज्म लूज हो जाता है, और ये तीनों ही डेड सेल्स है। एक ही एक सेल जो लिविंग सेल है यहाँ पर जाइलम एलिमेंट्स में इज गोइंग टू बी जाइलम पैरेन्काइमा, चिल्ड्रन. Now you can see that this is going to be the xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma is going to have a thin cell wall, thick cytoplasm, एक nucleus है, जैसे parenchyma था वैसा ही, इनमें vacuoles भी रहते हैं। ये parenchyma cells actually क्या करते हैं, is they help in storage of starch, some oil granules or something like that. So they're going to mostly basically help in what is going to be storage of the materials, especially whom? The starch and the oil, okay. Those are going to be stored in this particular xylem parenchyma. So we have tracheids, we have vessels, which are dead ones, which have xylem fibers, which are giving a mechanical support to this tracheary system. Xylem parenchyma is going to help in storage of the materials. Now just show me how actually this xylem system is going to be built up inside the stem, okay. So this is going to be togetherly the xylem elements which have been present. Children, these narrow lumen wala long structures that you can see here is going to be tracheids, whereas a wider ones are going to be called as what? Vessels, okay. Vessels are going to have end plates. These are the end plates. Each and every cell here is being called as a xylem element, okay. That is a vessel element. These are vessel. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 vessel elements, okay. Whereas if you see this particular thing, this is not a tracheid element. Tracheid, this whole togetherly is a tracheid, okay. Perforation end plates are present only in the vessels. Now, what are these blue cells? Are nothing but the parenchyma cells. What they do is they store the starch. Okay, now coming on to what are these yellow structures present here, the long structures which are also narrow, same as tracheids, are nothing but the xylem fibers. What are they doing? They are giving support, mechanical support to whom? The vessels as well as the tracheids togetherly. Okay, this is going to be a xylem vessel, xylem elements which are being present. Okay, I hope you all have understood, children, about these. Let me show you another beautiful image that I have got for you about the xylem vessels here. So you can see the clear idea here. The wide ones with the perforated end plates is going to be the vessels, and the thin narrow structures are the tracheids, and the cells togetherly on the sides are going to be your parenchymatic cells. And these, you can see the xylem fibers that you can see here. These are the that is sclerenchyma made fibers which are present, which are giving additional mechanical support to these tracheids as well as vessels present here. Okay, children, I hope you all have understood. So let me wrap out this topic by just giving you an what you call is back preview of this, that the xylem is going to be made up of 4 different types of cells which are basically meant for the conduction of the water as well as the minerals, and they are meant for the mechanical support. They are meant for the storage. So if someone asks you what are the functions of the xylem, just say that they are going to be for the conducting water and minerals as well as the mechanical support. Okay, so the important thing of tracheids is they are helping in adhesion, making of the water column. When the transpiration rates are increasing, they are preventing the formation of the air bubbles in the water column, giving a continuous flow of the water for the plants. Okay, by this I wrap out, children. I hope you all have understood. If you have liked this channel, and if you have liked this video especially with the slides and all, please hit the like button and do comment in the comment section. That is going to be boosting us. And try to share this channel with many, and try to subscribe our channel. This is going to build up many such videos which are going to be informative, will be helping you in your forthcoming examinations. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.